All right. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone is good. Welcome to this week's Dev Chat. As always, it's a pleasure to be with you guys. And we are going to kick off this week's chat like we usually do, just going over some stats and figures. Bit of a mixed bag, absolutely, for sure. So I'm going to start with the kind of the negative side of things, and then we'll move on to some of the more encouraging signs. So let's start with the thing that probably gives me the most disappointing figures, and that is Reddit. So for the first time since we started, I guess since the reboot, if you like, or whatever we're calling this thing that we're doing here, but since the dev chat started, for the first time, we're seeing views drop off. I'm putting it down to the amount of published comments. We're down by a couple of comments this week. And I think that's what's caused the drop off. So, this month. So over the last 30 days, there's only been 6 posts, which is obviously not quite enough. I'm obviously posting once a week. We've got a dedicated moderator over there as well, who is posting quite frequently as well, but I'm not sure why that's not being counted towards the post. But either way, we're down on posts, comments, and oh no, sorry guys, I'm completely reading off the wrong side there. It is the comments that are down. The posts are actually up, so I'm going to have to do some reflection on that, see if we can get people involved in Reddit. Or maybe we're just finding our baseline. Maybe that's what this is. And if that's the case, if we're finding our baseline and it's less than 1,000, then that just means that we need to review what we're doing. So I think we knew this day was going to come with Reddit, because we'd gone from a situation where we didn't post to Reddit pretty much ever. And then we started posting to Reddit quite frequently once I stepped into this role that I'm kind of occupying right now. So naturally, we've got an influx of people reading the Reddit post, and that's kind of dropping off now. So it's not great to look at, but I think we probably could have expected it. My kind of opinion on this is that obviously we don't ever want to see the numbers go down, and especially when we're delivering products. And last week we delivered a new product. So it's not great. So there's definitely some self-reflection to do, but my opinion is that we are probably now finding a level, and if we're disappointed in that level, which we should be always, I guess, then it gives us something to work towards improving. So members was up again. That's important, because even if the views are down, if we're increasing our members, then that's always good. Published posts, obviously we want to see posts continue to be published. Next up is Twitter. So again, bit of a mixed bag here. There's some positives to take from it for sure. But again, it's not quite what we want. So engagement is up, repost is up, and finally shares are up. So ignore the 10,000%. Basically, we've gone from 0 shares to 2 shares. So Twitter's, software is difficult, and even Twitter is affected. So it's not a 10,000% increase, although definitely might put that in the Reddit report tomorrow, 10,000% increase in shares. No, but the kind of sobering aspect to this is that our likes are down, profile visits are down, and our engagements are down. The engagement rate, I need to probably look into what that means. I guess that's like a ratio between posts and engagement. The engagement rate is up 10% almost. Reposts are obviously up 30%, which is great. But we obviously need to do more there. I got access to the software to allow moderators to make posts, but the software that we were using, the software as a service, they used to be free, but now they're charging. So unfortunately, I cannot pay for that without approval. So I'm waiting for feedback off Ryan. In the meantime, I found an open source one that I'm just going to spin up my own instance of and get that sorted. So hopefully we can get some moderator involvement in the socials as well, which I think, to be honest, would be better than me. This is not my strength. I am learning, and it's encouraging to see that some of the posts are doing really well, but obviously we need to do better, and you guys have my commitment on that. We will do. But now we come into the more kind of promising figures. I started a couple of weeks back, maybe three weeks ago. I started posting the token price movement in here. And the first week I did it, it was a great week to do it because we were up. The second week we were down, so I still had to post it because that's what we do now. And I just had to suck it. Whereas now I'm happy to report we've got positive movement on the token over the last 7 days as well. So I think it's important to talk about this, not because I think that everything that we're doing is going to translate into positive movement in the token. Obviously, we have to take into consideration broader market movements. So the market has obviously pushed in a positive direction, and that has definitely impacted our positive price. So I'm certainly not trying to take credit for it. But ultimately, the stuff that we do as a community, talking, those shares on Twitter, for example, the retweets, all this stuff definitely contributes to where we are in terms of a project, and obviously encourages buys. We've had more forward momentum, more buys over the last week than we did the previous week. So we should celebrate that, even if that it isn't all down to the kind of work we're doing. Although I definitely want to take some of the credit for you guys, because you guys have definitely turned around the feeling in the general chat. I think we all agree over the last 2 months, the feeling in the general chat is much more positive. So yeah, keep that up. Props to you guys. Frank doing a fantastic job pushing out videos as well, keeping people involved and informed. Fetos, Ultimo, the whole moderating setup is obviously working as well. You guys who are in the chats on a consistent basis, even though, okay, we get a lot of active members and we get a lot of people join this chat, we might not all jump into the conversation in the Telegram channel all the time, but we know you're here, we know you're checking in. And yeah, so overall the mood in the project is definitely moving in the right direction. So thank you guys for that. Now the next one, don't normally share this because we don't really take advantage of email marketing as much as we probably should. But over the next month, we're definitely going to. And I just want to share the results of the email campaign that went out this morning. So if you're registered on the GMR Center, you should have got this email. Now I'll translate some of that to you guys because there's not really much comparison because this is the first time we're sharing it. So the delivery rate is always going to be around 98 to 99% because you obviously get people unsubscribing. So that impacts the next cycle of delivery. So around 98% is about right for delivery rate. The open rate, you might think it doesn't look great, but that's actually amazing. This is our best performing campaign on so far certainly since I took over doing this. To put that in perspective, the last campaign was for Battle the Infected hitting the Play Store, and the open rate was 8.74%. Similarly, the clicks, again, it doesn't look great that we've only got 1.45% click-through rate, but that's still it's triple the amount on the Battle the Infected campaign, which only attracted a 0.47, so 0.5% click-through rate. So it's really good news, but the most encouraging thing for me is the unsubscribe rate, which was down to less than 0.2%, which is phenomenal, actually, because I think the last time, I think we got something like, 1.2%. But there was a broader, we sent it out to more people. This went out to around 4,000 people, and we're going to hit another 4,000 people next week with a different version of the same campaign to see whether we can tailor the campaigns in a different way that works. So I think ultimately email marketing, if you're not familiar with it, is definitely something that we should concentrate on and not get too hung up on the click-through rate, although we definitely want to encourage a higher click-through rate. But for me, it's that reinforcing the brand. We need to be, especially when we've got such a low unsubscribe rate, it means that the people are either happy to receive our emails or just too lazy to unsubscribe. I don't know, but the point is that for every person who doesn't unsubscribe, they're going to see our name. They're gonna see us posting on Twitter. They're going to see us emailing them. They're going to see us posting to Reddit. This is all about just reinforcing our brand name. So obviously we want to get the click-through rate up, and we've tripled our click-through rate, and we can obviously do more from such a low baseline. It means that we've got a lot of space to improve. Our open rate, again, 11% is not bad, but we definitely want to improve. But the point is, for me, email marketing is about brand reinforcement. Okay, so that's it for the figures. A bit of a mixed bag, definitely more we can do. And I think we're finding our baseline in Reddit, but that's still not an excuse to kind of settle for that. We want to improve. All right, so now I just want to talk a little bit about what we've been up to, what you can expect, and then we'll move on to the open-ended conversation, which we usually reserve for the last 20 minutes or so. Okay, so last week we shipped out LeetLotto the week before, actually, and so far that is doing well. We sent out obviously the email campaign like we've just discussed, and we've got 4 active lotteries so far, and across those active lotteries we've actually sold I think 6 tickets across the 4 active lotteries so far. They're low entry lotteries. I think 2 of them are 5 tickets, 2 of them are 10 tickets. And so far, we're just steadily ticking along. The goal with LeetLotto is to, first of all, familiarize people with the product, get people using it. And then we're going to start opening up to, hopefully, once we've got a bit more volume on there, to different types of lotteries, which includes NFTs, Gamer NFTs, of course, ERC20 tokens, such as Gamer itself as well, and so on. Now, I don't know whether you have actually heard this before, but LeetLotto does come with a minimum requirement of holding GMR to buy a ticket. Right now, it is disabled, but we are going to start to introduce that later in the process. The reason being, or at least the reason I want to talk about it, is because obviously, the eventual goal will be to allow you to purchase your tickets in GMR. That is definitely part of the roadmap, to allow you to even create your own lottos, of course. But people are asking, like, how does this add utility to the project? Well, first of all, it brings people, hopefully it will, to the platform, which is a funnel into the ecosystem as a whole. And then, of course, with the ability to lock participation to people who hold the token, that provides more utility, but it's not the utility we want. Obviously, we want to allow people to actually use the token to purchase. But LeetLotto is not the GMR project, right? It's part of it, but it's not the whole thing. So, yeah, the utility for GMR exists in LeetLotto, like I just discussed, but it's not the be-all and end-all. Okay, so LeetLotto is out. We've got participation. It's great. It's actually the first product on the GMR Center that includes many aspects of the new UI. And in fact, there's been a couple of changes there today to the UI. We've introduced more of the new dot icons, which can be animated as well. So not all of them are going to be animated. It depends on the context, but all of them can be animated. So it's a nice new addition to the UI. The chat now includes the date. It includes the user image, and it'll soon allow you to retweet, tip the person from GMR. It'll allow retweet. I just said retweet. Well, why not? We're not copying anyone's copyright anymore, right? No, but you understand what I mean. It'll allow you to share the post, quote the post. It'll allow you to like it, send them some GMR. All the things that you'd expect from the main timeline is coming to those mini chat widgets that you see on LeetLotto right now, which is leading me nicely into the next part. So what we're currently developing, there's 2 focuses right now. So I'll start with the one that we voted on last time, which is to build out a new timeline system. And some of those changes are already being deployed. Like I just mentioned, the discussion widget on LeetLotto right now. That is actually the foundational component of what is going to become the new timeline. So it started off as just a simple text-only, single line, no line breaks product. But already now you're starting to see some of the more familiar stuff that you'd expect, such as the date of the post, the person who posted, of course. Soon you'll be able to do the things that I discussed. And the reason why you're seeing them here first on LeetLotto and inside the lotteries is because we are developing it as part of the timeline development. And we're just going to push whatever is stable out right away so that you actually get to see the development in progress right from the application itself. I don't yet have a date for the release of the new timeline system, but I'm hoping by next time we talk, I'll actually be able to give you a firmer idea of a date. Because what I obviously am learning is that you guys are all allergic to the word soon. So I will refrain from doing that. But also, guys, I did say that I'm always going to be transparent with you. So if I don't know the date, I am going to tell you that. So unfortunately, if that frustrates people, I can only apologize. But as soon as I have a solid idea, I will give you one. Which brings me on to the next product that we're developing, which did get given a date, which I did fall back on or roll back on, and that is the GMR streaming. So I wanted to get that out yesterday, but actually it turns out that building streaming client is a bit of an SOB, but it's going really well. I'm really happy with what's being built right now, and it's looking nice. If you've not checked it out, there's a demo in the pinned posts. I posted that last night. So it's close. You'll see from the demonstration how close we actually are. And my hope is that this weekend, when I do a 30-minute coffee break chat, I actually want to stream it from the app. Whether it's released or not, I can still do it from my system locally. So that's coming along nicely. So I don't want to give another date on that. All I will say is that my hope is that it will be delivered before the next time we speak. And as soon as I have a more definitive date on that, I'm just going to post it in the chat. Or maybe I'll just release it. I don't know. But the point is that that application is coming along nicely. I'm going to stream from it this weekend to both Twitch and to the GMR Center. So look out for that. That should be fun. I am not a streamer, so it might actually not be fun. It might be painful, but we will see. Hopefully, the GMR streaming app will make it super smooth. And the only painful thing will be you guys having to endure a live stream from me. So there is that. All right, cool. So I think there was another thing that I wanted to talk about that I have not gotten around to. So what have we covered? We've covered the stream client, we've covered the timeline. I think we're actually good. So this week I've not had an awful lot of questions in the timeline of GMR. So I tell you what, that's what I wanted to say. Apologies. So I mentioned the coffee break. So the coffee morning idea was something that I wanted to run with. And I said that I would at least do once a month. So I'm planning to do it this Sunday. I will post the time that is ideal today. I want to try and hit the North American market as well, or the Americas in general, I guess. But I want to try and hit a time that suits both Europe and the Americas. And we can rotate it around if there's a demand for people based over in Asia as well for the next one. So the plan with the coffee mornings, nothing too special. I'm just going to open up my computer, go live, just chat about some stuff that I find interesting, and we will just take it from there. And if people like it, we'll continue to do it. I will do at least once a month doing that, and I will speak to moderators to see if they also want to host one. If we can get something consistent, then we will. If not, then it'll just be once a month, but we will definitely give it a go. All right, so that does now wrap up the intro from me, and this is where we hand it over to you guys, where you can ask whatever you want. Now, if you don't want to speak, you can just drop it in the chat. That's fine, and I will do my best to answer all questions, of course. Do you know something? Hey, Frank, you know when I said that I suck at this thing? I'm about to reveal why. There is one like super huge development that has occurred that everybody is probably waiting for, and I've completely forgot to talk about, and that's the game. All right, so I've had now 2 conversations with the game devs over the last week, and I'm happy to reveal that work is commencing on integrating the API, which is the last hurdle for releasing the game. So we spoke yesterday about servers. So we're going to ramp up initially with a kind of like a modest setup. So I'm not entirely sure which regions we're settling on first of all, but we're going to ramp up with a small setup. We're going to get the API integrated, which work is beginning on like ASAP, like yesterday. We went over some final details because there was a little bit of confusion in the first chat we had about one of the rules with the API that they're integrating, but that's been ironed out now. And I'm happy to report that development is not only going ahead, it is going to be coming sooner than I think that a lot of people probably gave us credit for. I think people have been expecting it to be several months, if not ever. But hopefully it will be very, very soon. Oh, damn it, I said the word soon. Shoot me now. No, I don't have a date. I am going to be transparent with you guys. Like I said, once I have a date, you'll get it. But it's going to be active development. And I imagine we're talking weeks, not months. So this is the first time I've been able to speak to them for a little while. So there was some administrative stuff to sort out. We managed to iron that out. So it's a huge, huge thing for me because I was kind of left in a little bit of limbo, and I know you guys were, and there's a lot of expectation around the game. So I'm just super happy to be able to report some good news in that area. So, all right. So there is a question that's just been lined up. That's great. So I'm going to end the intro section and move straight on to questions. So we've got around 20 minutes. You can just ask. I'm going to read the questions that have been asked in the chat first, turn up the music, and then when you're ready, either type your question or just speak up. So first, I'm going to answer GMT, who's asking why CMC is not showing the ETH market. That's a good question, and I do wonder whether it's something to do with the version of Sushi that we're on. I think we're on V2, and I'm not sure whether they're only tracking V3. So I will need to look at that. I don't know for sure. So leave that with me. I'll see what I can find out. There is a next question from Phoenixer. So he's asking for the BL. Does it include the iOS version? So no, we're talking about the P2P PC version that we're talking about. Also, we're pretty confident that we can get it on Steam because all the blockchain aspects of the game are completely taken out of the game itself. So I think for the PC, that's what we're aiming for. There is obviously development for the mobile as well. That is something that we want to finish because I think mobile is obviously what a lot of people will want to do as well. But for now, the concentration for me is to get the game released. I'll be honest with you guys, when I started doing this, I had a few kind of like hard goals. One of them was to get CoinMarketCap verified, and the other one was to get the game released. So even if it's only the PC version first, I've been pretty kind of clear with the game team that we need to just wrap it up and get it delivered, and then we can talk about mobile. Okay, so the next question is from Fitos. So hi Mark, asked last week, and I'm not sure if you've had a chance to check with Ryan. Is there any news on whether Battle League can be released to Steam? So this is something that I discussed yesterday with the game team. We're pretty certain that we're going to be able to put it on Steam because all the blockchain aspects of the game are actually not in the game. Like we handle that via HTTP requests to our servers, and anything that is reliant on blockchain data, our system takes care of that and just delivers it. So you're not going to make any blockchain actions in the game. You'll be able to spend your tokens eventually as well, of course. But right now, what we're focused on doing is allowing you, for me at least, the first release version is everything that is already there, plus the latest API that allows you to battle it out with people using your NFTs in the game. That to me is considered a release. We're going to get that done, and then we're going to move on to integrating other things as well, and then also obviously getting the mobile version worked on as well. So the API will work with the PC version immediately. That's the hold up, Phoenix. So that's exactly what's been causing the delay. It's been trying to get this part of the development agreed on, finalized, and pushed to deliver. And that's what we've been able to iron out over the last week, and it is coming. All right. So what does it do with the center? That's a great question. So everything. So the whole purpose of so for those who are not reading and just listening, Phoenix is asking, like, what is the API? What does it even do? What's it got to do with the center, right? So essentially, when you load the game, so the game, I don't know if anyone is familiar with web tech or anything like that, but when you load the game is like a client. So it's like it's super sophisticated, but for the sake of this conversation, it's like a dumb interface. So the game has all the tools it needs to be able to give you all the things that are available, but it needs to know what you have. So the way the game knows what inventory you've got, what NFTs you've purchased, what leak crates you've had, like all these things, the way it knows that is it asks the gamer API. So when you log in, it says who's logging in, and we tell it. And it says, okay, what inventory do they have? We give it. We even give it the balance as well that you have. So like your gamer tokens, your platform gamer tokens. So right now, if you get given a tip in the Gamer Center, it adds to your balance. In the future, we're going to allow you to top that up from the Gamer Center as well. So if you want to load up your Gamer Center balance with gamer tokens, we're going to facilitate that, because your balance will be accessible by the game. And obviously, these are the things that we need in the game to allow the game to facilitate blockchain-like trades. So, for example, if you imagine you go to the Gamer Center, you fund your account with gamer tokens, you go to the game, there's a new skin that you want to purchase using your GMR. You can do it right from the game with no transaction fees, no latency problems, all just taken care of because it comes from your platform balance. So this is the true essence of what the Gamer API is all about, is to empower developers to work with the gamer ecosystem and the blockchain by extension to basically bring Web3 gaming to life. Anyway, okay, that sounded a little bit philosophical, but hopefully that answered the question. If there's any more questions, don't feel like you have to raise your hand, just jump in. Yeah, that's a good question. I have to admit that NFL bot game, that was something that I believe, was it Bestmark who did that? I can't recall who it was who developed that, but I certainly didn't. So I will definitely reach out to Bestmark, but of course, as you all know, he's kind of not been checking in as often lately. So I don't know where his head is at in terms of wanting to kind of remain involved in the Gamer project. So I'll certainly reach out to him. I don't see why that doesn't make for a great product. But yeah, I think that's great. And I think that's actually the exact use case of the Gamer Arcade. But I think if we can't get Mark back involved, I could look into redeveloping something similar. Like I imagine a weekend project kind of thing that just allowed you to basically play cards with your NFLs. Like I think that would be pretty sweet, and it would immediately give you guys an additional use case. So yeah, again, just perfect example of why these conversations are good. I wasn't really aware of the card game until literally catching up on the chat this morning. All right, so we've got about 10 minutes left. Don't worry, we get into a conversation. We're not going to abruptly end. But while we're waiting, if you want to ask a question, please type it, but I'll give you guys a recap. So figures, bit of a mixed bag. We saw Reddit declining in terms of views for the first time since we've been doing this, which we were kind of expecting to happen because we knew that there's going to be a baseline at some point, because there was obviously an initial huge interest generated from when we first started utilizing Reddit. But having said that, that is not an excuse to kind of accept the lowering figure. So we obviously need to learn from what works and what doesn't. So it's a useful figure to be aware of, and it's something that we need to kind of keep in our minds. Twitter, likewise, there's a mixed bag on that as well. We got some engagement rate improvements as well as likes and shares, but there's also some decline elsewhere as well. So there's a little bit of work to do on socials. That is evident. The token price has actually rose over the last 7 days, which, whether it is a consequence of the market or the stuff that we're doing as a community, being more positive, as developers delivering products, I can't say obviously for sure the exact science behind the token price, but it's obviously a positive thing to see. Email campaign, we've got strong figures coming from the email campaign. We've tripled our click-through rate, still quite low, but that's good because a low baseline gives us plenty of space to improve. And the fact that we've tripled our click-through rate since the last campaign shows me at least that we can do it. Elsewhere, LeetLotto continues to work. We are seeing participation. People have won, obviously, even since the relaunch. Tickets are still continuing to be bought, and we are seeing strong interest in that. Again, I still think it could be stronger, but that's what the email campaign was all about. I've just seen another question. So Phoenixer is asking whether there will be a GMR merch shop in 2025. So I don't think that's necessarily something that I will rule out. I'm just not sure whether the appetite is going to be there. But, you know, I always kind of felt like it was a little bit rich to kind of have the merch shop. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too touchy on this. So, you know, it's a product. So when we are deciding what products and features we want to develop in the future on probably the next conversation we have, because the stream client will be out, if somebody wants to bring that into the conversation, do so. Great opportunity to remind you guys, you are in control of what we build within reason. Obviously, we talk about it and discuss it. So next week, the NFL Explorer, I think that's probably more important too. But still, it's good to bring up the merch shop as well, because things like that are often overlooked in terms of whether that is a product to be discussed. But it is. Basically, what we do every time a new feature is deployed, we talk and vote and decide what our next development feature is. So next week, we're probably going to have that very same conversation, because the stream client will be delivered by then. So we'll be able to talk about what we want to build. I do suspect NFL Explorer will be a bit higher up in the merch shop, but it's definitely still something to bring up. Okay, just to round off the summary that I was giving you guys while you get your remaining questions in, we have definitely... Okay, I'm not sure why you can't join the voice chat, Ultimo. So for those who are listening and not reading, Ultimo says he can't join the voice chat, but who is GamerDev? Please answer here if it gets mentioned. So I'm gonna answer here on voice first, and then I will put Ultimo out of his misery and type it in the chat. So if you have been paying attention in the Telegram chat over the last week, you will notice that GamerDev has been going live over the last 7 to 10 days. And that is me. I am GamerDev. So let me put that in the chat.
Mark, I have a question.
And Ultimo can now rest easy. But just to be clear, it is also Elon Musk.
Mark, I have a quick question for you.
Go ahead, Frank. How are you doing, mate?
Doing pretty good. In regards to a merch shop, wasn't there some like teasing a couple years back about like Elite plushie or something like that?
Yep. They actually got a kind of like a model manufactured as well. I think 2 were produced, a larger one and a small one. I remember seeing them in the GMR offices back in the day. So I don't know what happened with that, but I certainly know they didn't go ahead and order them, I don't think. So yeah, I remember it. I think that's we need to know what happened to those, don't we?
I would totally buy Elite plushie.
I think Fitos is probably right. Ryan's probably sleeping with them. Sleeping with them in his bed, not sleeping with them, all right? No innuendo.
If it works, it works.
That's very true, dude. And hey, what people do in the privacy of their own home is nothing to do with me. I have no opinion as long as they're not trying to make me do it too. No, but seriously, the plushes were great, and I think there was a time when we probably should have gone through with some of these commitments because it probably would have done well. And in terms of kind of like keeping GMR fresh in people's minds, things like this obviously do matter. So I think if there is going to be a merch shop, one thing that I definitely want to avoid is just creating something like a drop shipping thing where we just put our label on it. We did do that in the past, like when we first launched Gamer. I think within about 3 months, we did have a merch shop because people were obviously clamoring to wear the hoodies and send the stickers around and stuff like that. So we worked with a drop shipping company to do it. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't judge people who use that as a business practice. But for me, I think if we're going to do anything merch, I think it needs to be truly unique, good quality. And if we're going to ask people to spend their cash on it or tokens, then we certainly want to make sure that even if it's just like one product and then at a later date, another product, but it has to be good quality, I think. So I'll tell you what, guys, we've got about, 3 or 4 minutes left. But before we do wrap it up, I've got a question for you, Frank. How are you finding being back behind the mic?
Yeah. So, I haven't really gotten around to, I guess, speaking too much yet, but it's nice to be back involved with the community and, having a little something on the side to do with doing these uploads, even though there's only a few so far. I'm waiting on some special guests for our first episode of the podcast. So once I get everything I need from them, then I'll start work on doing that. But I also need to speak with you about that as well, about something that I'd like to do. Other than that, yeah, it's nice, being active and trying to think of ways to sort of expand the project again. I will say one of the things I've been thinking is that, with the community being at the point that it's at now, I went from thinking sort of like dooming about it to thinking like, wow, there's actually a great opportunity here for upward growth, even just marketing low market cap coins with the sort of idea that, hey, you can spend a little and get a lot right now. I don't know, there's just, my mind is going in so many different directions with how to do this. And I guess basically the point is I went from being depressed about it to feeling like we're at a stage where there's new opportunity now.
Yeah, I think I can definitely feel you on that. So I think first of all, I think what you're doing already is positive. So I think for the community, at least, seeing you back involved, seeing you in the chat, seeing you talking here today, watching the YouTube channel start to create content. The reviews are obviously super helpful. People are listening to them. It's good to see. So I think, first of all, like it's already super encouraging. So anything else that you've got up your sleeve, which it sounds like you have got something up your sleeve, is obviously going to be a great addition. So I'm sure I speak for everybody here that we're all looking forward to that. In terms of your kind of the journey into the valley of despair and then out again, I think that is something that I've also dealt with, and I'm sure many people have. Like when I talked about the low figures on, for example, just simple things like the click-through rate on the emails, right? Like the thing is it gives you something to kind of like to work on, right? It gives us a baseline figure. It gives us something to kind of, okay, we started these conversations, for example, with 4 people, and since we've opened it up to the official channel, we're now consistently getting double figures. So yeah, I think even though things are probably not where we want them to be, we can certainly take a lot of heart from the fact that we've obviously got a core group of people who want to listen in to what we've got to say every week. There are still people getting involved in the official channel. So I think first of all, it's great to hear that you're thinking super positive about things again, and we're all just super pleased to have you back. So I think that's great. All right, so we have probably reached the 20-minute mark. I can see that we're all ripping Ultimo in the chat now about his plushie fetish. So I think it's probably a good time to drop it off. If there was a question somebody wanted to get off their chest and they didn't have time to do it, drop it in. I generally check in at least once or twice a day, although I think Monday, Tuesday this week I was a little bit absent. I'm laughing at the chat popping up. Anyway, so if there is a question that didn't get answered, drop it in the chat or wait till next week. It's up to you guys. You will hear from me throughout the week as we prepare to launch GMR streaming. And you will hear from me again, obviously, next week. Sunday, you're going to be treated or punished, depending on how bad this thing goes, to a coffee chat. I will post the details of the time, either tonight or probably tomorrow morning now. But there'll be a chat in the afternoon Europe time, in the morning US time this Sunday. So, yeah, I look forward to it. Thanks again for everybody joining us. If you're over in the States, have fun tomorrow celebrating your Civil War victory over your Civil War compatriots, or also known as the War of Independence, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I'm not bitter. I still drink tea. That's fine. All right, guys. I'm going to leave it at that. Said too much. Frank, you want the final word?
I was just going to say, going to come over there and put your tea in the harbor again tomorrow.
That is an act of war, dude. We value our tea now. You can do what you want with it over on your own shore, but if you come and throw my tea away, that is an act of war. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Take it easy. See you in the next one, and see you on the weekend. Goodbye.